Welcome to our Saturday morning. June has arrived, so with that comes the summertime season in real estate, which I'm sure Cynthia Hash is braced for. Don't know how she peels a half an hour out the way the real estate market has been lately, but she does for us. She is the principal at Find Homes Realty. Cynthia Hash, good morning. How are you today?
Hi, Joe, doing great. And when you say here is June already, it's just like, holy mackerel. By the end of the month, we're going to end up having, June bugs eating all of our bushes. And
Yep, 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 absolutely. And you're going to be trying to find that non-toxic spray that's toxic to the bugs, or
yeah,
how do I get more opossums into my yard to eat the ticks before they get on my cats? That kind of stuff.
exactly, exactly.
And somebody's feverishly writing down. You can email Cynthia and ask her about possums and ticks, but
Well, I can tell you about ticks because honest to Pete, if I go looking for land and doing, the whole thing
site
of
survey and
trying to follow, the plat, the survey, whatever, man, I have to get cat collars, cat flea and tick collars.
oh my goodness.
And I put one on each ankle and one on each wrist.
Wow.
And then I spray DEET of some sort, and around the areas because I am like a daggone tick magnet and a chigger magnet.
Oh my
Chiggers
goodness.
are terrible too.
I until I moved into my new house in Fluvanna, I had never experienced chiggers, and I had let the grass grow around my pool because I was afraid of cutting it because I had an incident. You don't want to know about what happened when I got my lawnmower too close to my canvas pool. Um, but both I and the pool survived eventually. And but the first time and I'm there, and the next day I'm just like, oh, what's going on with my legs? What's happening? And my
Yeah.
my wife looked and she says, you have chiggers. I've
Yeah.
never had chiggers before. I was in my 60s. I've never had chiggers, and they were everywhere. And then you're reading all the wives' tales of how do
Mhm.
you get rid of how do you do it? I mean, is it do you do the what was the weirdest one I
Clear nail polish.
yeah, I had heard that.
Yeah.
Did
I
that?
have done that before, and but I tell you, it takes a lot of self-control not to scratch.
Yeah, no
And the other
kidding.
thing is I'm extremely allergic to poison ivy.
I just did some of that the other day,
Hmm.
all covered up. I had, it was 80 degrees out. I had a sweatshirt and gardening gloves on and
Yep.
pants tucked in. But yeah, we had one vine going along our basement staircase, and I pulled it up, and it looked
Hmm.
like it was everywhere. It turned out to be one plant, which I guess was moderately lucky,
Oh,
and just pulled
once
it
it
up.
goes, it just goes,
It
and
does.
yeah, it really does.
Maybe there's a
But
biofuel in that, would be a
wouldn't that be cool? You get rid of it all.
just burn it, take it to Indiana. But yeah, it is the summer season. Now, is summer a good time for showing houses?
It
It,
is,
okay.
but I will say, people think like I was showing houses the other day and it was in the rain, okay? And
Yeah.
people were, the folks were going, "Oh, I'm really sorry this that ended up, raining." And I said, "I'm not." And they were like, "Really? Why?" And I said, "Well, because you can see all the flaws in a house when you're walking around it, whether the gutters are working correctly, whether the downspouts and the are extended and away from the house,
Where
whether
the water is
where the
going.
water is actually going. Is it going down those, basement stairs? Is it going to, where is it going? And not only that, but if you go inside and you can like if it's a back porch or a front porch or something like that, and the minute you get close to the house, you smell mustiness.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Good
Mm-hmm.
tip. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it's a stress test. Rain is kind of like a stress
Yeah.
test for how somebody's looking at.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's true. Oh,
This
anyway,
is
these are these are definitely crazy times. And so, and we were talking about nature, so I'm calling this bird's eye view of what is going on in our crazy times.
Do you ever notice people who go through tough times, they always get very proprietary of it. When you told me you wanted to talk about it, I'm like, hold it. No. When I bought my house 3 years ago, it was crazy times. This can't be crazy times. My crazy times are the most important crazy times. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
people are
true.
weird like that.
Well, sometimes it depends on whether your cup's half full or half empty
Okay.
as to how people are looking at this. And quite frankly, I am more of a cup half full when it comes to what's going on in this crazy time. So
Okay.
what I mean by crazy times today is we're seeing some serious economic and market shifts. These market shifts are not bad.
Hmm.
They're not horrible. The market shifts, in my opinion, is something that is a long time coming,
Really?
that we truly actually need the market shift because it's been so unfairly balanced toward sellers ever since COVID hit.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I watched it happen. Those were my crazy times. Um, so that's what's happening is it's kind of resetting its equilibrium.
Yeah, and so that's a good thing, in my opinion. Now, I will say that anything, and I told this to somebody recently, these kinds of times where you're still suffering with increase of property values and
Hmm.
um, it's not a good time yet, perfect time, let's just put it that way, for buyers. But what it is, it's starting to what I call stabilize. And because inventory, even though it's still low, it's showing signs of rising. It's slightly on the rise, inventory. So, we're getting more and more properties dotting the population of the areas that we are dealing in.
Okay.
And that is good. So we're seeing that slow correction to what was really, I called it, an insane seller's market
Hmm.
during over the last few years. And so if you are if you're seeing a market being slowly shifting like this, some people are scared of it, thinking that it's gonna be worse. But it's really a good sign that the market and the economy are starting to stabilize. So you would be and should be seeing some more inventory very, very soon. And keep your eye on, and I'm just saying, get your agent to send you properties that are in real time, that have real uh, active, and letting you know that it's real, it's active, rather than, oops, I saw it somewhere else online and it's no longer available. Why? Well, because you didn't get that information from your agent.
Hmm.
And so think of it this way. Though I would say that even if you've got more inventory, you still have a lot of pent up demand from buyers. So
Okay.
that pent up demand ends up thinking like this. You have to think as a buyer, you have to think that, hey, there's going to be more inventory. So that means I can take my time now. Or that means I don't have to be fully qualified financially yet. I can just go
Hmm.
looking at properties. Well, the answer is no to that, because if you're not fully ready and you're not fully pre-qualified, pre-approved is even better than pre-qualification, then you got still another 5 or 10 other buyers out there that have been sitting on the fence for a very long time, waiting for times like this. And sure enough, you're going to end up losing it.
Right. Lurking
So,
as they were.
yeah. So the best thing to do, instead of sitting and um, instead of first starting with sitting down and looking at your phone, on the internet everywhere, and oh my gosh, this looks like it's going to be the perfect house.
Hmm. That never happens, right?
Let me call my agent now. Okay. Well, wait a minute. You haven't talked to your agent in a year because you gave up a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. Okay.
Right.
You gave up, and now you haven't talked to your agent, and all of a sudden you have to see this house.
Mm.
Well, stay in touch. Make sure that you are on top of things. Make sure that that agent can be, don't go and make an appointment with the listing agent or just click a button online, I want to see this house, because guess what? You're not going to get representation.
Really? Even
Yeah.
even if because your agents moved on to other things and they have other clients and stuff.
They have people that they're dealing with right now that, yes, that are ready, willing, and able, not just looky-loos.
Hmm.
And so what you need to be careful of is be always on the ready. If you do get that, you can hope and pray, by golly, that you're able to get your agent on the horn right away. Know for a fact that you're going to have to sign something with them to get their expertise. And also realize that there might be 5 or 10 other buyers that kind of like the same house you like.
Sure. Well, and I guess that's the important thing. I mean, it's one thing if you're looking for a home, if I'm understanding you correctly, to be looking for a home and to have an agent engaged and say when we
Mhm.
find something and understand that it's going to be a long process, that you're not, you don't have to be out by the end of the month, which is
Right.
this weekend. A lot of folks doing that right now.
Yeah.
Um, but you're there and you're active, right? Is what I'm hearing.
Correct. Correct. And the thing is that they're going to be as on it, your agent is going to be as on it as they possibly can, and hope that you are listening to their advice.
Hmm.
And also realize that there is a trust level there, and I understand that in regards to getting, oh my gosh, I have to sign something to see a house.
Yeah.
Well, hey, yeah, the best thing to do is make sure that you know how to interview agents. If you're starting to get the itch and you want to make that move, hire the agent first. Go looking for the agent first.
Hmm.
And where do you start? Well, first of all, find Homes Realty, right?
Well, and that's, one of the upsides that you have is that people spend a half an hour with you every Saturday morning. They already know what Cynthia Hash is all about, and that would be half of the battle for me, maybe more.
Yeah, it would be, and we sure do enjoy. I do enjoy doing this with you, Joe, as well as making this available to so many other people out there. And I just want to make sure that you know that even though our office is in Charlottesville, but we do all the valley, all the way up to Madison County, all the way down to Lynchburg,
Hmm.
all the way over Louisa and this side of Richmond. And the good thing is that we have agents that are spotted all over those areas. So, but getting back to what's going on in this market, you've got to look at too, who are the people that are buying right now?
Hmm.
It's mainly, the main one is the baby boomers. I think I mentioned this in one of the other shows, that are the most active buyers and sellers in the real estate market right now. Part
Really?
of why, yeah, part of why is because they're the ones who bought their houses for $200,000 and it's now worth 700,000. You
Uh-huh.
know.
So,
And
and
so
somebody is saying, well, your kids are grown, you've empty nested and all that. Does that play
that's
into
right.
it? Yeah.
That's right. They're downsizing. They don't need the, 3,000 square feet anymore
Hmm.
because their kids are grown. But what they do have a desire for is to stick with family, and they want to cash out that high equity that they have, because more than likely they've paid it off too.
Hmm.
They are, and they're paying cash for their next smaller forever home. One level living, first floor, primary suite, that kind of thing. And what is their motivation? The highest motivation for a lot of the baby boomers are moving closer to the grandchildren.
Well, duh, I would hope so anyway.
Right.
If somebody's looking, so here's where our grandkids are. Can we get to Hawaii? No, but it's, that family dynamic notwithstanding, and certainly they are the best case scenario because they'll be looking for smaller, and they've put a lot of equity into what they already have.
That's right. That's
Anyone
exactly
else,
right.
it's a crapshoot
Yeah,
because you may say I have a $500,000 home, but it may cost you $500,000 to get the next one too.
that's exactly right. And you don't know what that level of interest rate's going to be and those kinds of things. So using the other thing that I'm seeing baby boomers doing is using some of their cash out of their equity, whether they're cashing out by selling it or whatever, but using a lot of their cash to help their adult children purchase their first homes.
Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing.
So you have millennials
Hmm.
that are typically in their 30s and maybe early 40s. And those millennials, they don't have the equity that their parents have. And so they're starting to build their nest egg. And what better way for a grandparent to help their children
Sure.
than to help with a down payment or something of that nature? Well, with their equity too, I've also seen that building additions or cottages next to their children slash grandchildren is also another thing. A multi-generational living is still on the rise.
Interesting. I guess you got to know what your county permits on that kind of thing, but
You do.
yeah.
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. But this does help families to be together, maybe in the wake of COVID, maybe helping babysit the grandchildren. Maybe only one electric bill and maybe only one water sewer bill is helpful, you know.
No, it all adds up eventually. I mean,
Hmm.
it's interesting. I'd never heard of somebody building a cottage. I mean, I've certainly seen additions being built and the mother-daughter, separations of, some of the homes that I've seen are real and that, but I had never heard of somebody building a whole cottage off on their property for mom and dad.
Well, it's also a very good investment if you have the uh, adult children purchasing and say they already had their own home and that they purchased a while back and they are purchasing they're selling theirs. You combine the two equities of the millennials and their first house that they're growing out of,
Hmm.
and as well as the equity of the grandparents who are now empty nesters that
Right.
they need to downsize. You make that combination, you only have one real estate tax bill.
Another consolidation without question. Oh, by
That's
the
right.
way, I should have warned anyone who works in county government, stop listening right now. It's just
I know, right? Because they still want their
don't
tax
tell,
revenue.
don't tell anyone. And I'm sure somebody will bring it up at a county board of supervisors meeting.
Oh, maybe. But
But
there's no more traveling expenses to go see family across state lines and things
true.
like that. So you are saving that kind of money. And you're also doing that consolidation, which helps. Then you have the next line. The next in line is Gen Zs. So they're coming in as first-time home buyers. They're the 20 somethings,
Okay.
maybe up lower 30s or so. And so they don't know, quite frankly, sorry to say this, but they don't know any different as far as, oh my gosh, where's the 3.5% or the 2.5% mortgage rate?
Right.
No, they don't know any different. They've grown up in, hey, it's 6.5% or 5.5% if at best is what I'm going to get.
Yeah, this
And
is this is the time.
hmm and they also don't know any different because they don't know that they they have seen their parents or grandparents cash out on their equity and their house is worth 4 times it was when they bought it. And so they've seen that and they know that, oh well, this is what I have to live with. This is just life.
Yeah.
And so they have nothing to compare when it comes to inflated home prices, current interest rates versus the ones we had right before COVID. So they're simply getting what they can afford, and they live in a little bit more of a minimalistic life than the rest of us have done because we have too much stuff in our houses, right?
Well, I had heard years and years ago, somebody had told me the problem with I guess at the time, the millennials, when they were
Hmm.
in their 20s,
Hmm.
was that they were trying to buy mom's house. They
Yeah,
wanted a house that was,
yeah,
20, 30 years. We'd lived in it. We've done all the things to it. We've redone all the rooms, and they wanted it just like that. And that's not
yeah.
realistic either. You want the starter house.
That's right. And so think of it as, and we talked about this before, that it's home ownership is always good. And the reason why it's always good is you're building a nest egg, certain amount of wealth. Your money is not going to grow as quickly in pretty much anything other than real estate. And this is the time. So the latest market report for the areas
Hmm.
that around here are is very, very interesting. And so if you have an agent who who can explain all of this, then you are, in like Flynn, and they'll be able to help you navigate what the market is really like in comparison to what it was a year ago.
Hmm.
And because if you quit 3 years ago looking for a house,
Oh,
or you quit 6 years ago looking for a house, you're
surprise.
probably kicking yourself right now, you know. Um, and so I think, just as an example here, so for all the counties that surround Charlottesville, let's say, okay, we're looking at still a year over year change of fewer sales by about 3% than this time last year. I predict that by the fourth quarter of this year, we're going to be looking at an increase of sales. Maybe just only a little bit, but
Okay.
enough to say that it's not a negative. Okay. Um, Also, year over year, pending sales are typically have been down about 2.5%. But I again predict that's going to be higher by the fourth quarter. Also, new listings, guess what? That's up about 20%.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting. The builders have been kind of busy beavers, haven't they?
They have, but also new listings, I'm seeing new resale listings as well.
Oh.
And that's excellent.
Hmm.
The new construction sales, believe it or not, that's up 6.5%, which is really good. And now let me explain the months of supply of inventory. So if you're looking at about it's about a 45% increase of month supply
Hmm.
since last year. What's that telling you? More inventory, which means that's that stabilization I was talking about.
Hmm.
And so I think, and we also have about a 43.5% increase in active listings, which is good. And now I will say days on market, even though it's up by 33%, it's only averaging about 8 days on market.
Yeah. It's up, but it was way down for a long time. So
Exactly. Yeah.
findhomesusa.com is where you find Cynthia Hash is our host here. It's the reality of real estate. And does this, you said this is becoming a buyer's market. It's not all the way there yet, but it's becoming.
Yes, it's not all the way there yet. I think we'll see it next year as either by the fourth quarter of this year and so or somewhere next year, it will be more stabilized, a little bit more even, and a little bit less hectic.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good sign. I really do. And if you also look at the state of Virginia, so if you if you are interested in those kinds of trends, um, that they're very for the whole state. All of this, by the way, is on our website. If you go to findhomesusa.com, you can go to market reports and you'll be
Oh,
able to see all of this right there.
very
And
good.
and we keep it up to date as best as possible. Usually it's a month behind because it takes that long while to gather those statistics, right?
Sure.
And yeah, but you can look at all over the state of Virginia, and the interesting part is it kind of runs similar with the local areas. So whether you're in Augusta County or Rockingham County, or whether you're in Albemarle County or any of those areas and surrounding areas, a lot of times it's similar as an overall MLS kind of bird's eye view, which is part of the um,
Well,
name
certainly,
of
and
the
people will move into a region and then
Mhm.
start looking around for homes. So it could be in Waynesboro, it could be in
Yes.
Stanton, it might be in Western Albemarle, it could be any of those places,
Mhm.
wherever they happen to find the one that works, right?
That's correct. And I think the good news is we're still, even though I know it seems like we have to go through a little bit of pain first in order for all this stuff to be corrected. Uh, you can look at the Virginia mortgage rates, for example, and you can see just in 2020 how low it went. I mean, it went so far down in like literally two and a quarter percent.
Was it that low? I
That's
knew it was in the twos.
yeah, that's like giving away money.
It really is low. I mean, I think I got lucky because I'm at three. My wife would know better than I think it's three and a quarter. Yeah, and yeah, don't call me. I'm not selling.
I know, right? I
but
won't.
yeah, but it is better. I grew up in an era where it was 16,
Mhm,
17%. So it's all relative there. But also you talk about it, in terms of having the time. I mean, if you need to buy a home, having somebody like yourself, even if it isn't the perfect time, is
mhm.
necessary because it's better than it has been and where to look for the good spots, right?
Oh, absolutely. And get on a feed from a realtor and don't trust everything that you see online
Okay.
because it's
It's a good rule for everything, not just real estate.
that is very true. Well, it's if you look at the map of the state of Virginia,
Mhm.
most of what we have going on in this area you look at like Fluvanna is
Oh
has
my gosh.
increased, for example. Albemarle, there's a Albemarle and Louisa, I think, and somewhere areas in Northern Virginia as well. There was a significant decrease in sales, and the basically the even though they mark the map in blue for more than a 10% increase in home sales from 2024 to 2025, it is actually where more people voted red. So,
Well, I know in Louisa, a lot of folks are kind of holding their cards close to their vest because of the Amazon,
mhm,
headquarters that are moving in there. And same in
mhm,
Waynesboro, as a lot of folks are waiting for the Northrop Grumman factory to
that's
open
right.
up and associated and thinking, well, that might bring more people in there. So
Yeah, and
those are the kind of things.
Amazon, wanted to go into New York a year or two ago, and AOC just nixed that whole thing, which I thought, my gosh, don't they need employment?
No, of course not. What do you
It's
do with
not.
silly things like jobs? Come on, Cynthia. What kind of business person are you? But a good one, and that's why we're so honored to have you share your insight with the audience on the reality of real estate. Findhomesusa.com is where you find Cynthia. You
And
have
you can also find all of our, if you go to findhomesrealty.com, you can go to the podcasts and they're right there for you. And I appreciate you helping me with all of that as well, because I think, quite frankly, knowledge is power. And I do teach the principles of real estate. I also teach CE through cruising with car. And if you do want to find out more about, like, hey, maybe I want to get into real estate part-time or something like that, just contact me, let me know. Go on findhomesusa.com and just send me an email or something like that, and let me know that you're interested. Because unfortunately, there I've been in classes that are not that interesting, and
It's tough. It is tough.
it's hard to make this subject really interesting, but I have been able to help people with that. And I had one person that told me straight up in one of my last classes for the principles of real estate. They told me they told me that they said, we were warned that this was going to be a very boring subject. And
But
and
not
I,
so much.
and so if you go to cynthiahash.com/teacher, that will tell you all of my Mosley Flint classes.
Okay.
And so you can go in there and choose. I'm teaching in July, August, September, and October. And so please check it out, and I'll be happy to. And all you have to do is add it into your cart, and it's very simple, and it's not very expensive, and pop it right on in there. And we have two options once you decide that you want to, that once you've passed your Mosley Flint final exam and the PSI exam, which is the national and the state. Once you've passed those, find Homes Realty or Find Homes Referral Company. So you have a choice, and the Find Homes Referral Company is less expensive to have your license hung with that, and then Find Homes Realty. So we do have a choice, and we'd love to see if anybody would be interested in joining us.
Well, it
Uh,
sounds like there's going to be
yeah,
buyers out there coming very soon, according to Cynthia. So she's going to need the help. Thank you so much, Cynthia. You have a wonderful weekend.
thank you. I appreciate you. Take care.